So
And that allows Horford or Porzingis to basically roam away from Derrick Jones Jr. to help. Like when the ball does find a Gafford or a Lively, you see Horford kind of show, right? Or Porzingis, and it's an extra help defender, and then they quickly get back out if they kick it to a Derrick Jones or like a PJ Washington. We're here to talk about reactions to Game 1 from Celtics Mavs. Yeah, I wanted to start with expectations. I fully expected Jaylen Brown to be the main matchup for Luka. They were basically, in the regular season, that was the matchup that the Celtics were happy with. He guarded them, according to Synergy, it was 51% of the time of his defense time. And Luka guarded him as well.
Well, he's a little stronger than Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
So he can bang with Luka a little bit better.
That's right. And then the other
and
main...
arguably more athletic. So he can kind of contest a little bit better.
Right. You want him to kind of... And he's pressing him. Like, you see it in the game, early in the game.
He's more aggressive than Jason. That's why I like... Personally, I like him more than
Jason. Like, he's
I've
more
always
your...
liked him. Yeah, he's more my type of player.
Yeah.
But I like Jason Tatum, too.
Yeah, and...
Just not the Celtics.
Yeah, and so Tatum... we saw Tatum on Lively most of the time. He was also on Gafford. He was on PJ Washington, a little bit of Derrick Jones Jr. That was very similar to the regular season.
Yeah.
And the reason they do that is because they're trying to counter the pick and rolls between the 1 and 5, which is basically when you have Luka Lively or Luka Gafford, Kyrie Gafford, and so on.
Lob threads, those.
Yeah, and it worked.
If you got Lively, he's a playmaking big, so he might catch that and just kick it right back out to that corner.
Yeah,
you know,
So. And that allows Horford or Porzingis to basically roam away from Derrick Jones Jr. to help. Like when the ball does find a Gafford or a Lively, you see Horford kind of show, right, or Porzingis, and it's an extra help defender, and then they quickly get back out if they kick it to a Derrick Jones or like a PJ Washington.
Because they're not fully committing. They're not fully committing.
Yeah.
It's like a little hedge, little, they're digging a little bit, but,
That's right. And I wanted to start with that as my expectation was because that's exactly what I expected to see.
Yeah.
And it worked because it took away the lobs. I have a stat to throw at you regarding this before I let you go with your expectation part of it. I had dropped a video earlier this week. It was regarding Horford on Luka matchups. I have this. This is according to Synergy. So if we count 2 regular season games plus the recent Game 1 of possessions with Horford on Luka, Luka is a total of 10 points on 4 for 18 from the field, 0 for 9 from 3. My question to you with this stat of Horford on Luka, is it something or is it nothing?
I think it is something.
Okay.
Because, obviously Luka's he's not a very efficient shooter already.
Okay.
He's a volume shooter already. In 3 games, he's only shot 18 shots against Al Horford.
Yeah.
Which, I feel like Luka would try and take advantage of that a little bit more.
Yeah, he's hunting for the Horford possessions when he's calling for those pick and rolls.
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think he would attempt a little bit more shots against him, especially if he's going to look for it. But he's like, damn, I don't really have nothing against him. He's countering me.
Yeah.
Because Al Horford, especially at this age, is a little slower. So, it kind of helps him a little bit. Like, damn, I don't have to guard it. He's not quick. He's not going to beat me on the first step.
It works out.
So.
Yeah.
And then he's long.
Yeah,
he's pretty long. So.
And smart.
He's
been
a very
around.
Smart player.
Yeah.
He's a very smart player.
Yeah.
He's a great veteran to have on the team.
For sure. And I think it also, another wrinkle on that, when Luka, because Luka's looking for Horford in scenarios. But it's interesting because they have Horford on like a Derrick Jones Jr. So the pick and roll to get Horford is with a Derrick Jones Jr. That's not the same pick and roll as Lively. Like, that's not as strong of a screen. It's not as good of a lob.
Yeah.
It's not as good of a drop-off pass.
Yeah.
So that limited a lot of the middle touches, a lot of the lobs. Yeah.
Who else was on?
It was Drew on Kyrie.
I was about to say they would throw Derrick White at him a couple times. Just
yeah. Yeah,
but
it was like on switch type of thing.
Mainly, but so if you have Derrick, if you're gonna have him coming up, that's an easy switch. Whoever's guarding Luka at that time, it's easy switch.
Yeah,
and they can easily guard him.
And they're trusting Horford to just switch on Luka.
I would trust Horford on him, especially if you see it. I mean, like, stats don't always tell the whole story.
Yeah,
but that's one type of stat that does.
Right.
Like, okay, he's a good defender on him.
Yeah.
Which I kind of love.
I get it.
Don't care. Just do your thing.
Yeah.
But, sometimes looking at stuff like, okay, damn, he's kind of shutting me down. I would think, go ahead and look at the film. And how can I beat him?
Yeah.
How can I stop him specifically from stopping me?
Yeah.
How can I counter his counters?
Right.
Because obviously he's doing something they're trusting big on me.
Yeah, because Horford
That's
doesn't
disrespectful
jump.
in my eyes.
Yeah, because Horford is very intelligent. He stays on his feet.
Exactly.
He is just going to stay there. If you're going to shoot it over me, I'm just going to extend and I'm going to stay grounded.
Jumping,
yeah.
I'm not going to overreach.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do none of that.
And he got I think he
very disciplined.
Didn't he block him in that game? He did block Luka at one point.
Was it Luka?
It was on Luka. Yeah, it was on a step back.
But
yeah.
I mean, Jesus, bro. I mean, he's so disciplined, and it's rare to see. Even with veterans, some veterans are not that disciplined.
Yeah.
Like when J.R. Smith, I love J.R., but he was a veteran. He was a very undisciplined veteran.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was something I expected, though. Like, matchup-wise, and it was something going into the game that I was also going to look closely at. Like,
I love having you because you look at little stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I was like, and I even made a video before this, and it was explaining that Horford has a really good Luka has a struggling stat line with Horford on him in those last 2 regular season games. Small sample size, but clearly it carried over to the playoffs. And this isn't like some random possession. This is like switched on to Luka, like one-on-one contest, and Luka's dribbling and dribbling and dribbling. This is as pure of a count as it can be for possession. So this is a really good
stat. It's not like a quick switch and then he's driving on him.
You can actually go to the box score and you can click on matchups.
Yeah.
And you can see the field goal attempts and you can click that.
That's cool.
And it shows you all the Horford on Luka field goal attempts. Yeah.
That's that NBA.com thing.
That's on NBA.com. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'll show you that. But yeah, so what about you? Like, what was something that you expected going into this?
In my heart, obviously, I wanted the Mavs to win.
Yeah.
But I expected the Celtics to hold home court.
Okay.
They had a long rest.
The
Mavs, they didn't struggle too much against them, but the Timberwolves did fight a couple games.
Yeah.
They were scrappy, so they did beat up on the Mavs a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know they had
Luka's a little banged up.
He's been banged up the whole playoffs.
Yeah.
Whole way through.
Yeah.
So, and then Gafford's coming back off of an injury as well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously KP, but the Celtics have 6 starting players on any team. They will start.
So you expected the Celtics?
I didn't expect a blowout like that.
Okay.
Though. I expected the Mavs to kind of come in like a little sluggish. I didn't expect them to look as flat as they did though.
So you're on that side of the argument of there's an argument of rest versus rust. Like when you get a lot of rest.
I don't like a lot of rest.
Okay.
I don't think the Celtics had too much rest. I think they had like a good amount of rest. They didn't have too much time in between their games. I forgot who it was, the Nuggets. They had like 9 games off or whatever. Some team had 9.
Yeah, because
9 days
they
off.
had swept the Lakers. No, they won it in 5.
And then they had 9 days off.
And then they were
they
got a dog series.
Yeah,
just
and they looked sluggish, but they looked terrible the whole playoffs.
And in this final series, there's gonna be rest in between too. Like there's 2 games. Yeah, there's 2 days in between this one.
Yeah, 2-3 days I think.
Yeah.
So they have a little bit better rest.
Yeah.
I think second game they're gonna come back a little better. I think because Celtics haven't been defending home court very well, I think Mavs might take that second game.
I was worried about game 1 because the savvy, like the veteran players, obviously Luka is still young, but a guy like Kyrie. Even as young as Luka is, he plays like he's been around forever.
Kyrie, bro.
I figured game 1 would be maybe the one they take from Boston.
I don't know. Game 2 seems to be the one that they keep losing in the series. Like when they lose at
Boston,
home,
right?
They lose game 2.
And funny enough, the Mavs seem to have lost game 1s. Like they lost game 1 against the Clippers. They lost game 1 against OKC.
They did lose against. Yeah, they did.
And so here they are again. They lose game 1 on the road, and they've been on the road all playoffs long.
Yeah, because they're what?
They're a 5th seed.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting run for them.
Kyrie Irving went 6 for 19 from the field. Ended up with 12.
Yeah. It looked rough for him.
And it was a bad 12. I mean, he's missing layups that he always makes.
Right.
He's missing jump shots that he makes from like 15 feet out from that little elbow, bro. I mean, he's missing everything that he makes. The disappointment also for the entire match, they literally just looked so flat.
Yeah.
Why are you settling for? They shot, what was it, 7 for 27 from the 3-point line? That's 25%, 26%.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
The Celtics shot 38.
And shout out to the Celtics.
They shot 38%.
Yeah.
You're not going to
how
beat
many
a
threes
team.
did the Celtics take? They took like 42, right?
16 for 42.
Yeah.
You're not going to beat
Yeah.
a team shooting 38% if you're shooting 25.
Yeah.
Get to the fucking basket.
Yeah.
All right,
Agreed.
now I'm making my layups. Now I'm going to get a little bit more open shots. Now I'm going to hit one.
So your main disappointment was Kyrie.
Biggest one was Kyrie because especially coming back to Boston, the way he left, the way he treated the organization, the way they treated him, like the fans at least, I was expecting him to come out, give me like 25, a solid stat line. And Kyrie's an efficient player.
He's been efficient this year.
And he was efficient in the Nets too.
That's right.
He was a 50, 40, 90. So this is 0 for 5 from the free throw line.
Yeah.
I mean, from the 3-point line.
From the 3, yeah.
He didn't get one free throw attempt.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving.
Right. And Luka, I think, went to the line like, 5 times in this game?
2 for 5, by the way. 40% from the free throw line.
He was fouled a couple of times, I would agree with, but I think the Celtics did a really good job.
But Luka also throws himself into people sometimes.
Yeah. And they're not biting on that.
They're not.
Like, he's pumping, and they see it. They're staying. They know.
They have
that's right.
5 guys who are on the defense.
That's right.
Or off defensive caliber.
Yeah.
JT didn't make it.
Yeah.
JB never made it, but they're caliber.
But they definitely can.
They can make it.
Yeah.
Al Horford's been on it once.
Yeah.
They have KP. He hasn't been on it, but caliber.
Yeah.
Drew's been on it. Derek White's been on it.
Yeah.
Best offense in the league for a reason. They have.
That's right. Not just in the league, in NBA history. It's
the
most efficient offense ever.
Insane.
So,
so everything that they're doing, I expect from them.
Yeah.
They had 6 guys in double figures.
Yeah.
They had 6.
Mm-mm.
The Mavs had 4, but one had 30, and the rest had 14, 13, and 12.
Yeah.
12 was Kyrie. Kyrie cannot be your 4th leading scorer.
No, he can't. Unless everyone else is cooking, and that's
everyone else
why.
has goddamn
right?
20.
Yeah. Like what OKC did to Kyrie, right? Where he's becoming more of a facilitator because they're sending extra help his way.
But
and so now he's
only had
averaging a lot of assists. But yeah.
Luka can't have 1 assist.
Right. They had 9 total, I think.
9
as a team.
total as a team. The Celtics had 23. And if
I
you
think
watch
so. I
the
don't remember the
Celtics,
number.
It's
Yeah.
9 assists,
Yeah.
1 block, 11. Like the turnovers were fine. Like 11 turnovers, 12 turnovers for the Celtics. The turnover game was fair. The foul game was fair. They both shot. I believe. I didn't get the number. I think one shot made 11 or 13. One made 12. Like they shot the same amount of free throws.
Oh, they both had 19 free throws.
Yeah, and
I believe
one was like 12 for 19.
Almost, the Mavs were 12 and the Celtics were 13. Yeah.
So I mean, they both didn't get that many free throw
Right.
attempts.
It was down.
It was nice.
So
you can't say, "Oh, refs had no hand." The Mavs just played. The Mavs
I
just played,
didn't
really
see
bad.
that game, and I watched that game, and I didn't think that the whistle was friendly for either team.
I don't know, but you know how some people will be like, oh, they didn't get these.
Right.
It's down
but
the
it
middle.
felt cool for me in that game on.
And they let a lot of stuff, like they were letting the boys play.
I'll tell you my surprise, and it's semi-disappointment as well. The fact that the Mavs' strategy was to take the ball out of Tatum's hands at all costs. Like, Tatum had a bad game offensively, but a lot of that was because they're just sending everyone at him on his drives.
Yeah.
And basically allowing the rest of the Celtics, like, let's see what you got. And this was a game where the rest of the Celtics showed you what they got, and that really backfired on them.
Outside of Jaylen Brown, everyone else shot above like 38% on the Celtics. Everyone else was at 38 or better.
Yeah.
And
no, this was
they're open, good
and
look.
KP,
but they were making contested shots too. I'm not even gonna lie.
Right.
They were making a lot of heat check shots, and I was just like, bro, when they're making shots like that, you can't do anything.
There's nothing you can do about that.
But why are you trying to match them shot for shot when yours aren't falling? That's
true.
my problem. Why didn't the coach make an adjustment?
But I don't agree with the focus on Tatum. That.
No, I mean, especially when you have shooters like that around you.
Like, these guys are sending like 3 people.
You gotta trust one guy to just help.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Like, Tatum gets by a guy maybe, and then help defender comes, and then they also sent an extra help defender for the pass. Right, like for that pass. And they're just leaving guys open, they did a good job on Tatum. Like, clearly he struggled. It looked like an ugly game for him. He had 6 turnovers, but they brought out utility Tatum. Right, rebounds, assists. He got a block.
He led the whole game in rebounds.
Yeah,
11.
And the reason I don't like that strategy is because you're basically allowing the rest of the team to get comfortable. Mm-hmm. You're giving them reps. Even if they don't fall in game one, you're giving them some shots. You're giving them some rhythm.
Warming up.
You're warming them up.
They're
you know.
feeling it now.
And then
And
maybe
you got
when
the home crowd into it too.
yeah, and then maybe when then you start to try to cut down on those guys, it's too late, and now they're hitting contested ones because now they're they're all warmed up like you said.
Bombs.
So
There was one in the second. I think the second quarter, KP just came down, laced it from 30. Like just caught that.
Yeah. The Sam Hauser one,
bro,
where he
he
catches
just caught it
here.
up here. And I was like, bro, what are you doing?
Dudes are training that though.
Yeah, I know.
Like the catch high, shoot high. Yeah.
I remember there was a highlight earlier in the season of D'Lo.
It was him, right? Catching and shooting like that.
And then all of a sudden, like now you see a lot of guys just like
that's right. It's a
but
helpful.
It's good.
Yeah. What about let's do adjustments. I don't know if you have any written down, or maybe you think it's not so much adjustments. Maybe it's just.
I do think the Mavericks need to adjust their game, and they need to stop shooting. If they're not hitting as many threes as they would like, because they're also a really good offense.
How many threes did they take in this game?
27.
That's not a lot.
Well,
they normally take like 40, like 38.
When you're missing like that, though.
Yeah.
When you're missing like that, why are you still shooting?
But 27, though?
I feel like
you're not going to beat a team that shoots 40 a game. Because the Celtics shoot 42 a game. Like, that's their normal average.
That's the average, yeah. But, I mean, they live and die by the three.
They do. But they can get to the rim, too.
They live and die by the three.
Yeah.
You know that. That's the one thing with
and
the
they
Celtics
isolate.
Is also, well, yeah, that's forever.
But they looked really flowy in this game. I really liked how the Celtics played.
Bro.
Yeah.
That's I have to tip my hat off to them. The extra pass was everything.
Yeah.
Right? They made every single extra pass that they could.
Yeah.
You close out on me, boom. I got an extra
Tatum
pass.
tried his best to force things, and it wasn't working. He literally had to say, okay, you know what?
It wasn't.
It is what it is. I'm just going to kick it out. It just wasn't his game.
But then he started creating for others and then went off. Because, like, in that first quarter, they were kind of in there a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I think the Celtics went on a crazy run. We're just lacing everything.
So your adjustment would be just get more paint touches, get to the rim.
What's Luka's best thing? He attacks the paint, he kicks out.
That's right.
He's not doing that. He had 1 assist.
Yeah.
He's settling for shots. Yeah, he's making them.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 12 for 26. It's 46%. That's a Luka average. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's not he's not an efficient player. He's a volume player.
He is a high volume guy.
But he's better when he's creating for his team.
Right.
His team is better when he's creating.
Yeah.
And he created nothing yesterday.
Now, I will say this too, though. I think part of it is also the teammates not showing up either. Like, there comes a time where Luka says, okay, you know what? You guys don't have it. Kyrie, you're struggling. I got to kind of take it on myself. So I understand, because Luka is already that type of guy who can carry the load. And he kind of sees this game is kind of slipping away. It's looking like a blowout. I got to now. And he almost, he had a third quarter where he's cooking. And a lot of that was the Celtics just like lazying their way out of trying to build a lead, chucking
one thing
threes.
I'll give the Mavs, the second half, they won by 3.
Yeah.
The second half was a game that is what I expected for the whole game.
Was
a fight.
Yeah.
Back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
I expected Celtics to come out on top, but that second half is more what I expected.
Yeah.
They won the second half by 3. Not expecting them to win the half or win any quarter, but I am expecting it to be a fight. I'm expecting them to.
Yeah.
That first half.
Just more fight.
That first half, you look at the score differential, and it's just like.
They look chill, right?
They looked
like they
forgot it was the finals or something. It was like a regular game.
I didn't feel the intensity from them.
It was really, they lost the game in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And they ended up losing by 18.
Yeah.
But again, they won the second half by 3.
Yeah.
And I think the second quarter, they basically
it was the third quarter where they kind of like.
Yeah, the second quarter, they were pretty close too. Like, it was like a 6-point difference or whatever. But I mean, dude, you're so far behind now. Like, you can't stalemate with them in the second half because you already lost.
I have an adjustment that I paid attention to in the regular season.
Yeah.
It was some of these actions that they would run, and I want to see them run these obviously in this series. So in the regular season, first of all, when Luka was guarded by KP in this game, he shot like 70% from the field. I think he was 3 for 4 from 3. So
maybe try and get that switch.
So I think that they're gonna look at that and they're gonna say, "Hey, we need to get KP in more pick and rolls,
instead
Luka
of
seems
Horford.
comfortable in those.
Yeah.
Let's look for that. Now, obviously, people are going to say, "Oh, well, now we're back to the one-on-one game stuff." And I'm saying on the other side of this coin, like, I get it. You know, we're not fans of like isolation, but Luka does win a lot of games this way.
Yeah.
Kyrie wins that. The Mavs win a lot of games like this. They have Kyrie and Luka doing their thing.
Yeah.
Then they draw so much attention. The kick out is there. You know, because now guys are coming over to help. And so my adjustment, just my opinion, I think that the Mavs, because obviously they have Drew on Kyrie, right? And one of the easy offensive, like one of the easy buckets they would get were from Drew Holiday switching on centers when they run those pick and rolls. So what the Mavs would do in the regular season is, let's picture this. So Drew's on Kyrie, right? Luka has Brown on him. Now Luka would have he gets a screen from Kyrie, right? Now Drew Holiday picks up the switch because they're switching that.
Yeah, they're
and
switch.
So Drew is now on Luka. Now Luka calls for the 1-5 pick and roll. Now it's Drew switching onto a Derek Lively on the roll or a Gafford on the roll, and that pass is there every time.
Yeah,
and that's going to open up some things. So that little double screen where Luka gets one from Kyrie to get Drew, and then he calls for another one with Lively, that switch is there. I've shown it on a prior video this week, where they'll also park Luka on like a strong side, and then they'll run pick and rolls weak side with Kyrie, because he's being guarded by Drew, and it's the same thing. He has Drew on him. He calls for a screen from Lively or Gafford, and now Drew is stuck in this situation where he has to kind of pick up Lively on the roll, and that's an easy pass every time. That draws, you know, KP or Horford over, and now there's an open shot somewhere. So I'm surprised that I didn't see that.
Look into that.
But I did see it in the regular season. So that's something that you would think that we're going to see that. I'm surprised I didn't see that in the game.
One thing, like you had said when we were talking about the Wolves and the
Suns?
And the Suns. Yeah, it was the Suns when, you know, the mismatches and whatever.
Yeah. Where they bring out Gobert.
The Suns killed them all season. And you were like, well, the Wolves have to stick to the game plan. If you go away from your game plan, then it just all goes to shit.
Yeah.
They stuck to the game plan, and they did better, obviously.
Yeah.
But Mavericks, like, you know, that was part of their game plan in the regular season. So you know, like you said, you would hope that they would go back to that.
I've seen it. I've seen them do it. You know,
Luka, you would hope they go back to that for game 2 because obviously it works.
Yeah, and you don't want to throw all your cards out. You know, when you have some back pocket tricks or some things, you don't want to throw everything out game 1. You want to read your opponent. Don't want to get
smacked up like that.
You don't. Yeah.
You know, I mean, at 18 point on the scoreboard in today's NBA, 18 points is not that bad.
Yeah.
But if you looked at the way they played, it looked like they lost by 30.
It was like a 40.
It just looked like they lost by 30, 40 points.
Yeah. I do have a Celtics, not adjustment, but more of a, I guess, like a focus on something. This is an emphasis I have. So in the third quarter, the Celtics open up shooting a bunch of threes, and the Mavs come back. They start chipping away at the lead. They cut it to 8.
Yeah.
And there was a point where the crowd is like nervous and silent. They're like, are these guys going to choke again? They start getting to the rim. They start attacking Lively. They get him in foul trouble. He's at foul number 5 by the end of the third quarter, so he had to miss some time. But that's something that I noticed about the Celtics.
Which I think was key.
For sure.
Mavericks, that little comeback.
But that third quarter start by the Celtics, that was like a team. That's when they get lazy and try to build a lead the easy way, which is let's just chuck some more threes, see if these go in.
They think they're the Warriors. They want to be the Warriors.
You know,
they'll live and die by the 3.
Yeah, and then they realized, okay, damn, like we're gonna have to stop this. Okay, let's start getting to the rim, and that's when they put Lively in foul trouble.
But that's also something
I'm worried about that.
That's something they typically wouldn't have done in the regular season. They would have just kept shooting them. And they would have just lost the game.
Yeah,
you know, because
it could have happened that way.
You know, because they.
Yeah.
But again,
they got to the rim.
That's what I was saying. They did stop.
They tightened up,
and they started. But again, 38% is great. That's great shooting.
Yeah, it's good.
You know,
it's good.
I think that's
as a team, it's good.
Yeah.
It's above average, obviously. It's almost elite. Yeah.
Yeah, elite would be like 41.
40.
Yeah, 40.
Yeah.
So that's good. You know.
Yeah. Especially when and there was a point in the game where Tatum's taking some crazy shots, even though they're up 18, whatever.
Tatum.
And I'm thinking he's doing that to kind of pad his stats a little bit. I don't know. I don't like to call people out or, say things like that, but it felt to me like
that little bonus,
he has to show up, right? Like he knows there's this cloud over him of oh, you're not even the best player in this series and you're getting outplayed by your teammate, Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown's been the most consistent.
I think so.
Most consistent.
Yeah, I think so.
Jason Tatum has the better averages.
Yeah.
Through the playoffs because he's had more big games, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
But Jaylen Brown has been the most consistent.
Has he though?
I feel like
maybe in the playoff run.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The playoffs.
Yeah.
He won. That's why he won.
The Eastern Conference. Yeah.
He deserved it.
Yeah, but that's for that series. That's not for the whole. No, because it's Eastern Conference Finals MVP. It's the Finals MVP, right? It's for that series, and he hit that big game win, or not game winner, but that big corner three to send it to overtime. Yeah, he had good moments.
He had big moments,
and defensively, he's been
both sides the most consistent.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum is never consistent, especially in the playoffs. He's not consistent. He'll be up here for 2-3 games, and he'll be down here for 2 games.
I give him a pass in this game because of the strategy from the Mavs.
I'll give you that.
I got a lot of messages. Yeah. Oh, he's choking again. He's not showing up. And I'm like, guys, they're sending 2-3 guys on his drives. He is being crowded on these drives. But what do you want him to do?
The reason I would kind of lean more into the choking is because of the shots that the shots, like you said, he was
trying to force it.
That's why I don't like that.
I don't like that either. Is there anything you want to see in game 2?
I need to see Kyrie. It looked like, I don't know if he was kind of nervous to be back in Boston, especially in a big game.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like, his shots were just everything was kind of a little short.
Yeah.
I want to see him be more aggressive. I want to see him play the calm type of. It looks wild, but for him, it's calm.
I feel like the defense was good on him though.
And to help, but he makes those. He's one of the best tough shot makers in history. Yeah. Tough shot makers.
I know what you mean.
For
sure.
He makes the craziest shots, and he's efficient, obviously, at making these shots. I want him to have a Kyrie game.
Yeah, and he will. I think. Obviously, we know that's coming.
I want him to have it in Boston. I want him to have it in Boston.
If this is a long series, he'll be back. Right?
That's for sure. And
if he doesn't do it in game 2,
I just want Luka to be Luka again. Start distributing. His teammates need to step up a little bit more. Obviously,
they should be more aggressive.
His team. That was another thing. I need to see a little bit more aggression. They weren't even getting out the contest shots. When they were contested, it's because they were already there. But there was times they were just kind of jogging out,
and it's a lot of blow-bys.
Again, like I said in the beginning, they just looked at. They looked really flat.
Yeah.
They looked flat. They didn't look like they wanted to be there.
Yeah.
I need to see a team that fought a really tough Clippers team and got to the second round and fought another tough OKC team.
Yeah.
And then they got to the finals and got.
I will say this before we move on.
They fought some tough teams.
No, they did for sure. And I will say this before we move on because I wanted to make sure I made this point. This series obviously is different from any other series they've played. Yeah. Now, what makes this so difficult, and I said this before. By the way, Luka allowed the most points on defense. He allowed 23. I remember that number in my head. I saw it on Synergy. Yesterday, 23 points. It was the most allowed by a single guy defending on the Mavs. Not surprising because they go at him. But and so I will say this: there is nowhere to hide against these Celtics. There's no Josh Giddey where you can cheat away and help Luka or plant Luka on. There's no Russell Westbrook, right? Someone that for moments you can kind of put a help defender on him so he can roam and help. There's no Rudy Gobert. Right? These guys, there's all 5 can shoot. We talked about this before. All 5 can shoot. All 5 can put the ball down. Mm-hmm. And all 5 can defend.
And you got 2 guys coming off the bench that can do the same shit. So
And that's a problem. And that's why I picked the Celtics. Before the series started, I picked them to win the series because I picked them
to win the finals in the offseason.
Oh, okay.
In the offseason, I picked the Celtics to win the finals. And, I wish I had people that were here that literally once I saw Drew Holiday and KP go to Boston, I said if they do not win the championship, it's a failure.
All right, well, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Yo, mad love everyone.
All right.
Mad love, Vic.
Mad love.
Yes, sir.